Sup everyone, welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the top 5 tips that I've gathered. Pretty much, I pleaded and begged and crawled and just scoured places of the internet to combine, which I think is the most important out of everything that I've learned. And there's a ton of things I think I can make like a video with 20-30 different tips, but I've picked out the 5 I think most important ones to help me progress and generally enjoy the game more while also staying competitive if that's your thing. Remember, if you are here looking at tips for the game, you likely aren't a casual player, so this isn't gonna really be casual tips. I'm not gonna tell you to enjoy the game however you want, but rather I'm gonna give you tangible things that you can actively do right now to make a difference. Okay, before we start, I want to give a shout out to people who have helped me put this together. The Genesis Guild in Solaris server. Most of this has been people who play the beta, and I've asked them this to confirm. They're really nice people and have been incredibly helpful, especially Sethfer. I'm sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. I always call him by Seth. He has a YouTube channel as well. I suggest you guys go check him out if you have more detailed questions. But with that said, let's just get into the video with the number 5 tip. And number 5 tip is do not waste your main quest EXP. I don't know how much more people need to stress on this. It's number 5 for a reason. I think this one is very common. I believe you likely have heard this already. The main quest gives you a lot of EXP, and it's actually a smart move to stop when you're getting close. So if you look at the bottom of my screen here right now, I'm actually getting close to the cap for the day, but I'm not going to continue. Right here you can see my EXP bar at the bottom right. I'm not going to continue anymore because there are other ways to get EXP, and you don't want to overcap with your main quest, as oftentimes it can give you a huge chunk at a time, and if you are oblivious to it, you just continue doing it. That could be 50, 60, 70,000, maybe even up to 100,000 EXP you're just throwing it away. And in the grand scheme of things, that's going to help you get access to newer content faster. Let's say the day just start and then you crank out some main story quests, and you can get from, let's say, 33 to 34, maybe even 35, which gets you access to the newer content, as opposed to, oh wow, I'm stuck after just doing a couple of main story quests because I blew through it all the way to the story cap. So a lot of you guys may wonder, if you don't do main story quests, what other ways can you get EXP? And that's a great question. I really advise you guys to do world exploration. It actually gives you more EXP than you imagine, and also it smashes out a ton of achievements while getting you a bunch of black nucleus and even gold nucleuses along with dark crystals. It's just a great way to give your account a gentle boost in the sum account as well. Not to mention, most of you should have your SSR select box you got from the newcomers event and can be making a tough decision as of right now watching this video. Getting those extra summons in could be the difference between picking one or another. It's really copium to say, but it could really be just 10 pulls away to get the character you want, which then in turn allows you to pick another unit of your choice with the SSR select box. So yeah, I guess this is a 2 tip in 1 type of things. Avoid doing your main quest if you can, and do exploration instead when you get close to the EXP cap for the day. It's honestly a win-win for you as a beginner. So tip number 4. Try to get your hands on the Cybernetic Arm SR Relic. This really is the best value SR Relic. Trust me, I've been playing this game day in, day out, an average of, I want to say, 8 to 10 hours every day. And I know when I say I think I found the best value relic, and that's including maybe even the SSRs. Granted, I don't have all of the SSRs, but with what I have access to, this just blows that out of the water completely. I honestly think it should be categorized as an SSR relic just from how versatile and useful it is. For the most part, you can use it while on the ground, but you can also use it mid-air, which opens up the possibility for you to scale some insanely high cliffs and structures with close to no effort. You burn almost no stamina, and that is also thanks to the climbing trick, which you should be using, and if you don't worry, I'm going to talk about that a little later. So with all these combined, the jetpack, the cybernetic arm, and also the climbing trick, there's pretty much no places in the game you can't go, and it's very little effort. All right, this one has helped me immensely with world exploration and made the process far less tedious. For those who have an SR relic, selection crate, I'd highly recommend it. For the small spenders, you are actually able to get it by purchasing a $1 pack in the shop. So there's the pay to win method for you. All right, so for tip number 3, there might be some of you who are wondering what the hell was I referring to when I was talking about the climbing trick earlier. So here's your third tip. I found most useful as a beginner. When you are climbing walls in the game, you will oftentimes find that it's difficult to reach the top with the given stamina bar you have. Even more so if you are using climb jump in between, which just eats away at your stamina at an insane rate. So for people still using the jetpack to boost up and climb the rest, and also don't have a cybernetic arm, you may find the thought of exploration a daunting task, especially if you're just sitting on the side of a cliff waiting for a 100-second jetpack cooldown. Things can get boring really fast. Well, here's a trick for you. If you go up to the side of a wall, or whenever you latch onto a wall, what you can do is you can press the control key if you're playing on the PC. I'm sorry, I have not tried this trick on mobile, but you can detach from the wall by pressing control, which then you can press the spacebar twice. You can double jump in the air, which will give you a boost, and then press the forward key, which is W, which allows you to once again reattach back onto the wall. And guess what you do from there? You detach again with control, double jump, reattach, detach again, double jump, reattach. This surprisingly doesn't use much stamina. You can barely notice it go down, and it's actually insanely fast. And if you time it right, it almost feels like it has no cooldown either. So you can just spam this when scaling up a wall. Yes, there is an issue with if you run up to a railing, if you run up across something that blocks your path upwards, then you're kind of stuck either way. That's why if you combine this with the cybernetic arm, with the jetpack, you will have no problem getting to any place in the world. It is insanely useful, and this takes a lot of stress off of the jetpack cooldown. So for people who are still beginners, relying mainly on the jetpack to scale cliffs and just waiting on cooldowns after cooldowns and finding that the game is incredibly repetitive and boring, I advise you to give this trick a try. It actually opens up so many different ways to navigate the terrain of the game, and actually has made exploration a lot more enjoyable. Okay, with that said, that's tip number 3. Moving on to number 2. Join a crew. Okay, a guild, whatever you want to call it. Join one, even if it's small or a casual one. The amount of resources you will gain from being in a crew, as long as you donate, will stack over time. It may seem insignificant now, but this is some permanent loss for you if you don't do it earlier. The tokens you get from donating to your guild can be spent in turn at the guild shop or the crew store, which can net you items such as potent omnium crystals and eventually even purple gear. As a side note, do not spend all of this on the blue gear. It's a waste and you will regret it. And if you ever go to Seth and say, hey man, I spent all of my guild tokens on blue gear, what do you think? He's gonna facepalm really hard. In fact, all veterans, all closed beta players will facepalm most likely. It's mostly a bait, and they would all recommend you to stay away from it. It would be a good idea if you want to jump ahead in the future to save up all your donation points and snag up a purple gear when they do become available in your guild shop, which could take some time, but that's also giving you time to save up more crew tokens to eventually make those purchases. All right, join a crew. You don't really have to mingle. You don't really have to be their best friends. You just get in there, do your daily donations. It's completely free. 7 days a week, you can get 700 tokens just from donating, and then you got another 1,000 from the guild weekly quest, which most people should have no problem smashing out. So totaling 1,700 points, completely free to play every single week. It adds up, people. The sooner you do it, the better. Now, finally, the number 1 tip. And this is something that I found out recently, and I'm not saying I'm regretting not finding it out earlier, which a lot of people have been talking about. It's just I personally haven't really gotten to it. And now seeing how it works, I probably should have done it a day or two ago. And that is not working on awakening your characters. Some of you guys may be hearing this for the first time, as not a crazy amount of people have been mentioning this, but I think it's important as most of this is gated behind dailies, which if you play MMORPGs can know how annoying it gets. Thankfully, if you made it all the way to the end here, there are several ways for you to obtain gifts for your characters' awakenings. Yes, you need to give gifts to your characters or your weapons, whichever one you prefer to call them. It's your Samirs, your Kings, your Zeros, and such, right? You need to give them gifts and 2 of the methods are dailies and free. The third method is a weekly and costs around, I think 10,000 gold, right? I personally would say it's worth it, but if you're tight on resources, you can take it slow and just do your dailies instead. For awakenings, it depends on which character. Say someone like Samir, you can get up to 20% extra damage if you can fully awaken her at 4,000 points. It's going to take a while, but hey, 20% damage is nothing to scoff at, and not to mention, this is completely free to play friendly, but just takes time. All right, whales have little methods to speed ahead, so the sooner you start doing this, the better. The first method is if you go to your map. Let's zoom out a little bit so people kind of can understand where we are. We're going to be in the Banges area, Bangis, however you want to call it, and this waypoint over here called Space Rift Black Market. So let's just go over there right now. Once you have arrived at the waypoint, you are here going this way. You can turn left, go down this corridor, and you will find a man by the name of Hopkins. If you talk to him every single day, he's gonna give you an option to pick a mystery chest, and it's random. Okay, you're gonna pick a chest, it's random like I said, and you're gonna get a gift, and you can get a blue one or a purple one, so it's really up to RNG. Just talk to him, you'll get a prompt if you haven't done the daily with Hopkins. And following that, the second method, which is the daily method, is free to play. You can just go to Cetus Island. Once you're at Cetus Island, you can go over here. And find yourself at this strange gadget. It's located just on the north side of this circus tent over here, and it's called the Magic Claw. I already used up my attempts today, but if you haven't done it, you can do it twice, and you should be aiming for the purple fox in it. You should aim for its head using your WASD key on the keyboard. You can move the claw, and on the right side you can click to drop it. You should aim for the head of the purple foxes. You can get 2 of them per day, which is going to help you immensely in progressing your character awakening. Finally, the third and final method, you have to go to Banges Dock. Once you've arrived, it's not too far. You just go up these staircases here, and you go to Balmart Grocery, and you're gonna find a dude called Cloud, item vendor. So if you talk to him, browse the store every single week, you're gonna have a bunch of these green gift items here. So basically, if you're here for the first time, the first 3 are for your vehicles. Do not buy those. Yes, I did end up buying all of the E53 coolant, which costed me a cool 5,000 gold, so I don't suggest you do that. Start with the flower bouquet. I don't know if it's flower bouquet, but it's all the way to the bottom. These are all the gifts you can purchase every single week. As you can see, it's a weekly limit, so if you're watching this video right as it goes live, congratulations, you can still do this before the weekly reset. If you watch it later, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, but it's a new week, it has already reset. Everything resets on Monday morning. Once you have your gifts, you just go here, go to your simulacras, go pick the one that you want. For me personally, I'm working on Samir. Samir, click Awakening, go down to gifts. I know it feels a little tedious, but once you get to this page, all the available gifts you can give will appear over here. Just click, send, and you're gonna make progress towards building up her awakening points. And as you guys can see, once you get to this awakening at 1200, you can get a second awakening at 4000, and some of the other stuff in between are just dance alone and stuff like that, which some people may be interested in. But this is gonna be something everybody should be working towards over a long period of time for multiple characters if you want to have them at their best. Anyways, with that all said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I've been having a blast with Tower Fantasy, with Genshin having its slowest patch as of now. Looking forward to Sumeru's release, but I'm going to be playing Tower Fantasy in between. If you have more questions, videos that you want me to make, please comment them down below. I'm going to be learning more about the game and also making more content for it, so if you're interested, please subscribe, because things are about to get rowdy here on the channel with both Genshin 3.0 and more Tower Fantasy content. Again, shout out to Genesis Exodus on the Solaris server, as well as Sethfer for answering all my questions. Do check out his content. I'll link it down in the description. Till next time, I urge you all to stay safe. Peace, bye.